whatsoever. That's been the disappointing thing from my point of view first half. Lack of real, genuine attacking thrust. But that, we should compliment the defenders on being very, very good first half, Mark.
Well, we've had a volley from Wise that David James held, a shot of some ambition from Paul Merson that wasn't far away, but it's been a first half really of strategy here at Wembley, and we reach the break. Aston Villa 0, Chelsea 0.
When we come back, the thoughts of Graeme Le and Andy Townsend. Graeme SOUNESS is with us today as well. We'll be hearing from him. No goals yet at Wembley Stadium. Half-time, it's Aston Villa 0, Chelsea 0.
It's not just the power.
Here comes Roberto Carlos.
It's the bend. Don't foul anywhere.
What a goal!
England v Brazil, a nationwide international, live and interactive on Sky Sports 2 and Sky Sports Extra. Keegan's Euro 2000 hopefuls.
We need this back. It's rounder. Women's.
On the first day, they were naturally very wary of me. They smelt me, I smelt them back. By day 5, they'd accepted me as
It's cup final today, of course, and after this, still plenty of domestic business to sort out. We've got the playoff finals. It's Darlington against Peterborough, Friday, May the 26th. 3 o'clock start, a 7 start on Sky Sports 2. It's 2 o'clock on Sunday, May the 28th for Gillingham against Wigan. That's the second division playoff, of course. And then for the right to play in the Premiership next year, it's Barnsley against Ipswich, Monday, May the 29th, 2 o'clock, Sky Sports 2, and that one's interactive for Sky Digital viewers on Sky Sports Extra. Half-time here between Villa and Chelsea. No goals yet, just 3 attempts, only 1 on target to date, the volley from Dennis Wise. Ref's been busier than the goalkeepers. Graeme SOUNESS, Andy Townsend and Graeme Le with us this afternoon. It hasn't yet, Graeme, hit the heights. Why not?
It's not got started. You know, big games, everyone's scared to lose them. You know, the midfield, they're dogging it away. Everyone's trying to stop each other playing. I would expect a better second half. But it's a typical cup final. It's a game that none of the players want to lose. And as yet, no one's really settled on it. Made lots of openings. There's been flashes of some brilliance. But as yet, it's not really happened.
Great technique from an Englishman in Chelsea blue.
Fantastic
Dennis
strike.
Wise. Terrific
Fantastic strike.
wasn't it?
He's played very well this year. He's been our best player by far, most consistent. And he's come up with more than his fair share of goals from midfield, Dennis. So it's good to see. I mean, we've won a nice knockdown there. Gus involved. Franco, great bit of skill to get past Alan Wright. If this gets up in the air, I think Aston Villa are in trouble. Comes out to Dennis, and at a tight angle, that's an excellent shot. Comfortable for David James.
Done well at the target from there.
He's done very well.
It was good technique there.
He's done very well.
Booked, fairly quiet. Attempts 1.
Yeah, so
I've just seen it.
He's surprised he's booked. You know, it's a competitor. He wants to win more than anyone else.
And he feels very much that he has to lead by example, Dennis. He feels that, you know, he needs to be the one that puts his foot in and gets everybody going. He's the captain. He's got a reputation, and he wants everybody to follow his lead as far as his commitment.
Just the occasional intervention from Paul Merson. Andy was saying John Gregory would want him on the ball more when he has been. Has he looked dangerous?
Well, he does at times. I mean, first half, a few times over on the far side, we've seen him getting some good situations. Again, his technique's never been in question. With the outside of his right foot, that was a that was a good effort. You'll see it better from here. It's almost really favouring his left foot more, but he'll come across it. Never easy to do, and it's not a million miles away.
He's the inside-out Harry Kewell.
Yeah, he's linked up quite well with Mark Delaney a few times and got himself in some good situations, and they've had a lot of set pieces for a 5 or 10 minute spell there. They had half a dozen coming in, look quite threatening, but I think they'll be reasonably happy so far, Villa. They haven't played brilliant, as Graham says, it's been very cagey, but I think you'll find it open up a lot more in the second half.
Through the eyes of a centre-forward, Andy felt that there was a chance for Taylor as the half nearly ended.
Andy being the type of player is, he wants it in the mixer every opportunity. For a midfield player, I think this is a good pass. You know, I think the ball comes back out. I think this is a cute pass. I think Mercer's not reading the situation.
But look out.
He's on the way out, then he has to come back. But Andy, of course, being Andy, would want it thrown up there so he could come in the back of one of the centre backs and get a header.
I think there's a response which I can't quite hear, but we'll find out very shortly. No goals yet at Wembley Stadium. It's Villa 0, Chelsea 0. The whole of the second half, of course, live, and more if it's required. Extra time and penalties today come next.
What are you doing? This bank is not ready yet. There's no money. There's no safe. There isn't even a roof. You can't rush these things, you know, like you can't rush making Grange. It's brewed longer for a fuller taste, and it's only released when it's ready. Chris?
Terrific summer of sport coming up from Sky Sports. Made mention of it a couple of times today, but it's worth it. And thanks to our friends in the airship, which has been circling above Wembley Stadium since we started and will be there for another 2 or 3 hours yet. The European Under-21 Championship starts next Saturday. 7 o'clock, it's Italy against England on Sky Sports 1. Republic of Ireland have got 4 internationals coming up, all live against Scotland and in the Nike US Cup, Mexico, the USA and South Africa. And England's countdown to the Euro 2000 Championship starts a week today against Brazil. That's live. So too is the game against the Ukraine. So too is the match in Malta, a fortnight today. Graeme Rousseau, Andy Townsend and Graham SOUNESS are with us. Briefly, chaps, how would you change it? Graham?
I just think that we need to be a little bit more convicted in going forward and commit players forward, get players into wider areas because we've been desperately short of width.
You happy with, as you
I
go
wouldn't
with
change
that?
anything. No, I wouldn't change anything at all. I think it's nice and tight and the game's delicately poised. I'd leave it as it is.
I think both managers will think that. I don't think there'll be any changes until maybe 15, 20 minutes into the second half. But I think if someone really wants to win it, they're going to have to make changes. As you said, they're cancelling each other out at the moment.
So for the second half of the FA Cup final between Aston Villa and Chelsea, a Sky Sports production available in widescreen, Dolby Surround and on interactive. There's full stats, highlights and of course player cam for Sky Digital viewers. That's channel 404. And first up today, George Weah for the start of this second half. Case for the defence, Andy, on Graham's point.
The defence is obvious. As someone like Graham SOUNESS who loves a pass, let's take it. It's about moving players, me passing for a purpose. And I think Villa do the first part of this brilliantly. It's getting players out of position. Desailly down here, taking him out the middle. Now the first pass in behind here does that for me. Out comes Marcel Desailly. Now as they've tucked it back, hold it there. Now, you've got Ian Taylor coming in here, centrally. You've got Dion Dublin coming in, well, not quite there, but coming in round the back there. Two of the best at attacking against Babayaro and Didier Deschamps. Why on earth wasn't it delivered? But then again, knowing Sui, he would have wanted it to come back out, go across the front again, and he would slash it in from 25 yards. But then again, there weren't many Graham SOUNESSes about.
Oh, I'll finish on that. Thank you for that.
All right, son.
I think I'd better intervene here. Let's hope the cut and thrust between Andy and Graham is matched by what we see in the second half. Been a booking for Dennis Wise. Now, I don't know when you're 4.5 months old whether you appreciate that your dad's got a yellow card. That's Henry Wise in the arms of Dennis's partner Claire.
Well, Villa are committing a lot of players right side here at kick-off. A new system, is it?
Aston Villa start the second half of the FA Cup final of the year 2000 with a routine that looked as though it had a bit of rehearsal, but practice didn't quite make perfect. No substitution at half-time, and now we're starting the second half again on the right-hand side. And, able to link up here with Weah. Wise. Maybe knock it forward early under pressure. Isn't anything else on for the skipper. David James played for Liverpool in the FA Cup final 4 years ago. You'll remember that final of the yellow or cream designer suits that Liverpool came out in. David and Villa in a much more sober sense of grey today. Dublin. Here's Taylor as Chelsea give it away. Cut out by Desailly. Barry across to beat Weah to it and go and support Wright on the outside. But Wright does deliver across in towards Taylor. Andy Gray.
Well, maybe word got through in the dressing room from Ian Taylor to Alan Wright. Taylor wasn't happy it wasn't delivered, but Chelsea contribute by giving this ball away quite easily here. And Taylor, who had gone forward, stayed up. Now they've got Dublin and Taylor in at the back post, able to attack the ball. That's what they'd want. He didn't quite get enough on it. And Dublin coming in against Babayaro. I know who I'd fancy.
Boyet getting the better of Barry. Zola. Boyet's pass skims off Effiog's head. Didn't matter because the flag had gone up against Di Matteo. Graham Atkins on the far side.
I just feel, Mark, if we get a better tempo to the game second half, then the game will improve. I think the best of this football match is ahead of us. Isn't a doubt in my mind about that.
The sun now in his eyes for these long balls up to him. Mercer on the prowl here. Trying to get round the outside of Melchiot, who wasn't for the passing.
He did well, you know. Melchiot, players have decisions to make in football matches. He had one there, right on the edge of the box. As Merson pushes that past him, does he go to ground? He didn't. He could easily have given the penalty away. He stayed on his feet, did ever so well.
Short corner routine from Villa and Southgate. You do feel still that the set plays are Aston Villa's best route to victory here.
It's the set play that got them the goal at Everton, Martin, if you remember. Steve Stone actually scored the goal, but it's the ball they play. Carboni goes short, they play it back out, and then they fly in on the second ball. Couldn't quite keep his header down.
Zola. Very rather tentatively forward. Deschamps made it his. It's warming up in more ways than one. Leboeuf. Babayaro. He'd just gone tight along the touchline. He might have got there. He was thought he could get it infield. John Gregory with that long walk back. Still returned to his position for the second half, which is already almost 4 minutes old. Mercer. Taylor took that well, but he wasn't aware of Wright on the left.
Oh, what a chance again, the picture there.
Zola. Weah, goalkeeper hesitated and was pleased to see that one flash wide from George Weah.
Well, we've waited an awful long time, almost 15 minutes for Zola and Weah to combine, and he's very, very close. A little dart in behind, and the ball was first class. Nothing wrong with this attempt. He strikes it quite beautifully across the goalkeeper. He can only be a foot wide.
Gianfranco Zola's only scored 8 goals for Chelsea this season, but those who keep the stats at Stamford Bridge will tell you that he's had 22 assists in goals for others, so you write him off at your peril. It's his roll pass there that Weah fastened onto.
And that's what I mean. When they talk about playing it in behind, Mark, it's not, I'm not talking about 6-yard ball all the time. That little ball there that Zola played, the run from Weah made him play it in there. He said, go on, I'm going in behind. Just lay it in my path.
And it would be another paragraph on a terrific curriculum vitae of George Weah, has achieved so much in the game. There's a problem here for Poyet.
It's a booking, isn't it? The card's out.
Never short of a word or two, Gus Poyet. It doesn't let him off the caution. So it's another free kick for Aston Villa. All the practice payoff here. He was able to come and claim it at the far post, and Merson wants to know what went wrong. As if his signal wasn't anticipated properly by his teammates.
You would do if you were a player, wouldn't you?
Yes.
You had delivered it, no one's on the end of it. They didn't have the usual one spinning round the back.
Wise into space that Zola will fill. Ekion tracking him. Goal kick.
Now, it takes me back to early in the day when Graham Lasso was talking about Hugo Ekion. He said he's a mountain. He said you have to go an awful long way to get round him. And that was a great example of that. Zola tried to skip round and Big Hugo just said no way. I think even now, 6 minutes, 7 minutes into the second half, there's more zip, there's more tempo about the second half than it was in all of the first.
Taylor. Carboni. He's just got a scamper there, and as he got there, he was in control. Help out Melchiot. Hasn't needed too much help. The truth is known. Carboni's had a mixed time in the cup. He scored 5 goals, big contribution for Aston Villa, but he was sent off in the quarter-final. He stormed off in the semi-final here when he was substituted. Now his final end. Handball against Wise. Graham Poll's angle. Saw nothing he could give. Babayaro. Di Matteo.
Lacking tempo in the ball, a lack of pace from Di Matteo back to Babayaro.
Babayaro can involve Frank Leboeuf. He swings it in. And Leboeuf goes to get it back. Oh, James has lost it. Wise! Chelsea have scored! A goal for the skipper in the FA Cup final.
His flag's
or
up,
is it?
Martin.
No. The flag has gone up. Graham Atkins says no goal.
He doesn't believe it. They don't quite clear this. The ball from Leboeuf comes in, and then it's cleared. Now from here, when does the flag go up? As the ball comes out, here we see the strike. Oh my goodness. It's not up, but it goes up. Certainly Wise wasn't offside. George Weah's the one who, maybe fractionally ahead of the game. Oh, that's a tough call on Chelsea.
It's still 0-0. And all on the Chelsea bench were celebrating. And Wise was off on a run of celebration. Merson, shame for Chelsea, maybe a shame for the shape of the contest as well. But Villa will be mightily relieved. Here's Boateng, Taylor, Merson. Come away from Dublin. Lovely touch from Zola. Wise. Zola's run. Didn't quite get there in time.
Well, the only thing you can say about the linesman on the far side, Mark, he's looking an awful long way across the pitch. He sees the ball struck. I think he's made his mind up that George Weah's in an offside position, but because the goalkeeper saves it, he keeps his flag down. But then from where he was, he obviously decided that Weah was active, trying to gain an advantage and going after the rebound, and up went the flag.
Merson. No Chelsea player has scored against Aston Villa this season, and that is still the case. Wise thought otherwise for a few jubilant moments until that jubilation was dramatically cut short. Delaney and Aston Villa a corner.
Well, the lads talked about it in the studio about so many things going Villa's way this season, Martin. In various competitions at various times, that's another one that John will feel has definitely gone his way.
This was cool. Dublin knocks it down. Chelsea having difficulty dealing with it. Di Matteo gets a boot to the ball. Barry. Aguilera had time to take that, but needed to be told he had that time. Merson. It's a fine ball. Just too high for Dublin. Boateng. Corner.
Great challenge, Wise, aided by Di Matteo. He's not happy, Boateng, but I don't know what he expects. He ain't going to get a free ride, that toss to goal. He doesn't expect to get a shot in without a challenge. He skips past Deschamps here, edge of the box, but look at Wise's reaction. Hurls himself at Boateng, not making it easy for him.
He's doing that when he's on a yellow card, and any mistiming could have dramatic consequences.
Oh, we've got a cup final suddenly.
We've got Paul Merson with a Aston Villa corner. Off the head of Deschamps. Back by Boateng. Deflection took the pace off the shot. And here's Zola.
Lovely kick out from Ed de Hoy. He only had little Zola available, and he controlled his drop kick beautifully.
Dublin. Well, there are options for Gianluca Vialli on the bench, from the bench. And I guess top of that particular list is Torre-Andre Flo. Forward by Taylor. His match fitness will be under some question, I guess. Substitute in the last Premiership game after a long absence. He had an outing in a testimonial match in Swansea. He's a naturally fit lad.
Well, he will run to a drop scene, Taylor.
Poyet. Zola in early towards Weah. Effiog's a defender. Deschamps was trying to back up the play. Wise is there. Poyet. Met by Barry. Taylor can't keep it going Villa's way. Southgate's headed it rather higher than further forward, which would have been his target. Di Matteo. See with plenty lined up in the centre. Babayaro can get in across, which Delaney says no, you can't.
Well, he ain't going to get that much time, Mark. Not now.
Theatrical fall from Frank Leboeuf. It was a foul, but it's that type of going to ground that makes him antagonistic to opposing supporters. Sometimes maybe even to Chelsea fans. Right, wasn't odds on to get that one, but he did. And he goes again, and he was late, but Chelsea have got the ball. Zola, in comes Weah!
We will not see a better chance in this football match. World Footballer of the Year in his time. It's a simple volley. The occasion may be the FA Cup, but I would put 20 of these on his foot and he would make the goalkeeper work. It's not difficult. It's 5 yards out. A player of his quality, well, not only should be scoring, he should be burying that. What a let-off for Villa. What a miss by George Weah.
Aston Villa has survived on a call by an assistant referee, and a miss that's out of character from George Weah.
Yes.
At a time when, well, that's Taylor on Wise. I was going to say at a time when Villa have got to do a fair bit of defending. We're switching our player cam for Sky Digital viewers on channel 404 to the Aston Villa defender Ugo Ehiogu, and the wisdom of Andy Townsend. Carboni, we've seen him in little patches really. Still a potential match winner for Aston Villa. And they're still in a position to win the match. An hour gone, maybe another hour to go. Delaney.
Just ran up a cul-de-sac, didn't he, the young lad? Looking for a little bit of help. I thought he had the chance, the opportunity to deliver. Just dwelt. Well, the talk and the buzz around the ground is about the linesman's flag going up as Frank Leboeuf wins the ball, and then Di Matteo turns and hits it there. You see at the far post George Weah. Now as it drops, then the flag goes up. Weah's only, what, a yard or two from the ball. So there'll be two schools of thought here. One, Villa will say, yeah, the linesman was right. And undoubtedly Chelsea will say, no, it should have been allowed to stand.
And there were extremes of emotion for Dennis Wise in quick succession. Here's Zola. Weah's in again. Still Weah, beaten away by James, helped out by Barry. More inroads for Chelsea. Deschamps. The favourites starting to force the play here.
The goalkeeper did well, didn't he? That was really, really good stop from the goalkeeper on this occasion here. Again, it's a lovely little dink over the top. Look at Weah's run again. Said to Zola, put me in. He's a little unlucky it dropped behind him, but the reactions of the goalkeeper, absolutely first class. Assesses it, off his line quickly. What a good block that was.
Boateng. Carboni likes to hit them early, but can hit them better than that. Let's hear from Brian Marwood behind that goal that Chelsea are attacking with gusto. Brian.
Well, it's a little bit of a charmed life as far as Aston Villa are concerned at the moment, Martin. A great chance from George Weah. Ehiogu was furious with Delaney. Delaney really had gone to sleep at the far post, allowing Weah really ought to have scored. And Chelsea now are beginning just to put Villa under a bit of pressure.
So I think from all angles that is evident. Wise. Zola. Weah was down on the ground, now he's picked himself up.
Well, Villa are really under pressure for the first time in this football match. Chelsea have upped their tempo, the movement's more purposeful than it's ever been. The front two have suddenly come alive and getting involved in the match, and they're really causing Villa one or two problems. And you just feel at this time when you're dominating a football match like this, you must score a goal.
Offside against Weah again. Frank Leboeuf did have the opportunity to go on further and maybe have a crack at goal himself.